Hi everyone, it's Lee. Welcome back to Grain-Free Insights. First of all, I have a big favor to ask you. I've decided rather than showing my little cubby of an office as my backdrop, that I would use a virtual background. They kind of drive me crazy because, like, look at my hand. As you can see, it wants to make part of your body disappear, part of my hair disappear if I move around, which has always bothered me when people use it, but I just thought this might be nice. This is a photo of my living room. I turned it into a background. And I would please, if you would, in the comments below, just let me know if you like this new background and I should continue using it, or if you think that my old cubbyhole little space without a virtual background is better. Appreciate it. If you've watched my earlier videos about going to Disney without a DAS pass, which is the disability pass that Disney gives to people that visit the parks upon request, but they've changed their rules. It's not as easy to get a DAS pass now as it used to be. You have to have cognitive disabilities. They don't really look at physical disabilities anymore unless you get special compensation. So because I have spinal stenosis and some autoimmune issues that make it more difficult to stand in line or to be in the direct sun, I didn't really qualify for the DAS pass. That was one of my first concerns, was how easy or difficult it would be for me without using it. The second is I wanted to do Disney using a rollator instead of a walker. I'm sorry, instead of a scooter, because I just feel like I have more control over my mobility with a rollator, which is a glorified walker, and a wonderful way to get around. You also have a built-in seat if you need to sit down anywhere, which for me, having severe spinal stenosis comes in very handy. All right, here's the good news. The rollator worked great. I averaged, and remember, I was training before this for pretty close to a year, getting as many steps in as I could. And I got to where I could do about 1.5 miles, 2 miles without having to stop. I still needed to stop after about that amount of time using my rollator, but I was able to put in about 5 to 7 miles per day without an issue. And that made me extremely happy. Please visit my earlier videos about Disney with a rollator to get the background of everything that I was thinking about and everything I had to do to work with Disney, and also to make sure that I would hopefully be able to accomplish my Disney with a rollator task. Here's the biggest problem that I had. It was extremely hot and humid while I was there and very sunny. The heat, while it was uncomfortable, didn't bother me. The humidity, while uncomfortable, didn't bother me. But the sun, if there wasn't an overcast day or if it wasn't behind a cloud, my Sjogren's disease, which is an autoimmune disorder, very much like lupus, when I am exposed to that type of direct sunlight, my body just gets a lot of exhaustion very quickly. Now, I was worried that if I needed to wait in line and it was going to be out in the sun, that it would be very difficult for me if I didn't have early access, a lightning lane pass, for example. And I was also concerned that if a cast member did tell me that I could go wait in the shade, that by the time they called me in, I'd have to wiggle my way through everyone in line with my rollator, trying to get to the rest of my party to be able to stand in line with them and get on the ride. Good news, it wasn't like that at all. First of all, I did end up getting some lightning lane passes for rides, just because we were trying to keep up with my family and try to get on the same rides with them. So I never really had to ask a cast member if I could go wait in the shade, and then they would call me in as my party was getting into the shade. However, what I learned was if I had done that, what they would do is they would wait most probably until my party was all the way up in line, ready to get on the ride. At that point, they would call me in. And they have a completely separate aisle for disability. That's whether you are coming in with an official DAS pass or whether you are coming in without a DAS pass, but with a disability. So I would have just been escorted into that line. I wouldn't have to make my way in or out of anyone. I'd be able to go straight through. And then at the end of that line, I would be asked to join my party, and now we would all get on the rides together. The only difference between that and a DAS pass is if I had waited until my party was closer in line, it might have been a little longer of a wait. But I was still treated with the utmost respect, and things were so easy, really made me happy. Now, when I had a lightning lane pass, or even if I went on to a ride without a lightning lane pass, but I didn't have to wait outside and just decided to stand in the queue, there is a point in that queue where a cast member will take you into the disability line. Now, it's a little further up if you're not there with a DAS pass, but still they make it so easy. They see that you are in a wheelchair, a rollator, a scooter, whatever, and then they take you off to the disability area. And at that point, you can let them know if they need to stop the ride for you, if it helps if they slow down the ride. So if you're slow in entering the rides that have the moving walkways, and they can accommodate you and help you. They also show you, if you're using a rollator, exactly where to put it. I thought it was flawless the way they handled it. And now that I've seen it firsthand, I am pretty comfortable with the changes that Disney has made with the disability pass. I feel like I can easily manage Disney even without lightning lanes if I choose to do so, without having to compromise my body being in the sun. Also, because I use a rollator, if lines are long, and because I have spinal stenosis, Rollator has a built-in seat, so I can sit down anytime I like and then just get up and move along with the line. So if you are wondering if you should still try to do Disney, if you've had a DAS pass in the past, or you never have, but you're hearing that Disney no longer offers them to people with physical disabilities, I would suggest giving it a try. Please comment with your questions and thoughts below. Another thing I want to say is that before I purchased my rollator, I thought I had it all figured out because I had the stigma of using a rollator. I just didn't want to. I've gotten over that. But I thought it might be really cool to, instead of using a rollator, just rent a stroller, because as long as I'm holding on to something, I do pretty well. Just rent a stroller and use that instead. That way it just looks like I'm carting a stroller around, it doesn't look like I'm using a rollator. Well, first of all, having that stigma was silly. But secondly, that would have been a huge mistake because you cannot take strollers into the line because you can take a rollator, a wheelchair, or a scooter in the line. Everyone else has to park their strollers outside, and then I would have been stuck waiting in line without having the opportunity to hold on to something or to sit down. What else can I tell you? Let me look at my notes for just a second here. I think that's everything. I do want to end with one park tip, and I might put this in a different video. I'm going to be doing a few other Disney disability videos. One is going to be about food and working with allergy chefs. There's some information in that you might not find in some of the other videos online. And the other is going to be about the disability room that we had at the All-Star Movies Resort. So stay tuned for those. The park tip that I have is, if you do book a lightning lane, make sure Disney will send you an email to confirm your lightning lane purchase. Make sure you save all of those emails, print them out, and take them with you, especially if you're traveling with a fairly large party. We were a party of 7, and right now, the way that the Disney My Experience app works is when you pull up the rides that are booked for that day, you're seeing everyone, and it doesn't give you the chance to filter it so it's just you and the rides that you are going on. It can be extremely confusing. I also found that sometimes there's glitches with that app. So if you take every email that you get, every confirmation for your lightning lane, print it out and keep it with you. And whatever rides that you're going on that day, take the printouts, fold them up, put them in a Ziploc bag, just in case it rains. Put them in your little compartment, your disability compartment, if you're using a disability mobility device, and just take them with you. That way you can easily look through it, see when the ride is. If there's a discrepancy or something gets lost, you can show it to a cast member and you can get in without a problem. Like I said, I might put this in yet another video, but I did want to include it here as well. What questions do you have about my Disney experience without a DAS pass? I hope I covered everything, but if I didn't, please let me know. I would love to answer your questions. Also, anytime anyone likes and shares, it means the world because I know that I should keep making videos like this, and I appreciate it. I will talk to you again soon. Thank you for being here. Have a great grain-free life. Bye-bye.